Hello and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts Daniel
and Daniel.
I'm excited for this week.
So am I. This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it will. This is one of our fun ones. In fact, so listeners of the podcast, you won't notice this now, but if you listen to us live, you'll notice we're going to be doing a double episode today. We're filming two back to back, which is really fun. Spoilers for next week. They'll see that we're wearing the
also
same.
Pulling the curtain back. This is still a couple weeks from when these will air.
That's true. Yeah, so if you're listening to it as a download, that was weeks ago that we did all this. But no, we're going to be talking about two things that we really enjoy, like a designer we really like and a game that we really enjoy.
The designer is the hint for the next episode.
Yeah, but today's episode we're going to be doing a brainstorm for Quadropolis.
And normally we try to not just do 10-year-old games. It's like we already did it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But this game never got any love, really.
Right.
It came and went. It's such a beautiful game.
I agree. This game, we are champions of this game.
Yeah.
Daniel and I have been playing this for years. We stand by it. We've always enjoyed it. And then, I remember the first year it came out, people talked about it. They're like, this is really clever. This is great. And then crickets after that.
Yeah. It got buried in between the Bruno Cathalas, the Five Tribes, and Yamatai, and it was one of the last kind of good hits before they kind of tear it off before Heat, and I'm talking about Days of Wonder.
Yeah.
I want to say this is probably outside Ticket to Ride, and I actually prefer this one over Ticket to Ride, my favorite Days of Wonder game, in all honesty, the more and more I play it, because I like a lot of the Days of Wonder games, and I like Ticket to Ride fair enough. But man, I get happy when we get to this table. When Gamehead Geek brought it out, when we did an all-day game, it's like, yes!
Let's go.
Because we had just played it, 6 months before then?
Yeah, we played it online.
Or no, we played the two-player version of it when it was just you and me for a game night because the guys canceled.
That's right.
And then when he's like, I've been wanting to play this one again, I'm like, yes!
Yep, that's right. And, not only on top of that, you and I, we've had very non-conventional gaming this past month or so. You normally host a weekly game night that you invite us and our friends to, and just life has been happening, and we just haven't been able to get that together.
Yeah,
except and I did get a game day this last week.
Yeah, you and me, yeah.
Yeah, but you and I have been making up for that.
Oh yeah. Board Game Arena for the win.
I'm telling you, I got to give shout out to Board Game Arena. We've been playing so many games on that. Just every break I get, I'm like, all right. I wake up, I start playing my turn.
We're currently on 10 games right now. Actually, technically 11, but there's a bug on one of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Honestly, we weren't really enamored with it either. So.
No, I wasn't in love with it. I didn't dislike it.
I wasn't sure what the heck we were doing.
Right. It was a lot of, homework. But there was a bug in it, and now I am, soft lock. I can't
do something.
Do a turn.
Yeah.
And I looked online, and apparently that's a common thing now. Or at least common enough that people have been reporting it. So, it is what it is, but we're not going to hammer on, the boring stuff. Daniel, before we get into today's episode, what are you doing outside of gaming?
I hinted at it last week on the last episode. I talked about it right before my trip. I'm going to be talking about my Atlanta trip in Atlanta, Georgia. The wife and I went to the beginning of the month of April to Atlanta, Georgia, to go see some baseball games. The main reason we went there, Atlanta's never been one of our cities we wanted to go to other than to go see the aquarium. Yep. The only reason we wanted to go to the Georgia Aquarium is because there was the only aquarium, I believe, in the world, for sure the United States, but believe the world, that has whale sharks in it. These are the world's largest fish, and they get to the size of whales. I want to say killer whales, which are dolphins, but humpback whales and stuff like that. They get pretty massive. They used to have 3 of them in there. One passed away. We're like, okay, there's still 2 in there. Well, the second one just recently passed away, I think in December. And we just right then and there pivot our trip because we were supposed to be going to Seattle this year. We pivoted our trip to Atlanta this year, and we moved it earlier because we were like, we don't want to be in Atlanta in the middle of June. So we moved it to April. And the whole reason is for us to go to that aquarium for the wife to see the whale shark. And me, the whale shark, is one of my favorite fish. It's just, it's so massive. And it's like the largest fish in the world eats the smallest thing because it eats krill just like the humpback whales. And so it's kind of neat about that. But they also had manta rays in there. So we went and did that. We went there also because the Atlanta Braves play there. And we all know I'm a baseball fan. So I was like,
are?
I'm going to go watch some baseball games. We ended up going on a Monday and coming back on a Friday, so it was a little quick week trip, and we visited the zoo first off, which is a cool zoo. It's a small little zoo, but come to find out, that zoo's been there for almost 100 years now.
Oh, that's cool.
They used to have pandas there. It was one of the first zoos to actually get the Chinese panda, the giant panda, in there before the Chinese took them all out. They still have a lot of marketing for the panda, even though they don't have that anymore. And so now they're pushing the red panda, which is much cuter in my estimation. And then we did the ball game on Tuesday. Had some great seats. We had these clubhouse seats. Mm-hmm. So it let us go down into a section where it's called Chipper's Corner on the third base side. They give you free popcorn. We had free hot dogs. And after the second inning, they gave us free ice cream. The wife was just in heaven there. And I'm like, I'm fine. I got a popcorn bucket. I'm good. I'm watching baseball. One of my favorite things to do. Spent way too much money at the game. And then the Wednesday, we went to our second game, the one game that we were originally going to go to. The first game, we decided to go to that one because they were giving away a bobblehead for the Rookie of the Year. And I'm like, I kind of want the bobblehead. Yeah. So I ended up picking that up. But the Wednesday, it was a day game. We went there, and we didn't have as good a seats as the day before. And we regretted it because it was direct sun, no airflow. I got sunburned like you wouldn't believe. And I had sunscreen on, too. And it's just like...
Still enough.
Yeah, still enough. But we had a blast on there. Wednesday night, we went over to, and I gave them a shout out, that's why we talked about it last week. We went to that gaming store, Gigabytes Gaming Cafe, which was pretty cool. Then we went and did the Cumberland Mall. Actually ended up eating at a cheesecake factory. Never been to an actual proper cheesecake factory before.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's actually really good if you know what you're getting. Yeah, well, I ended up getting...
You ordered the cheesecake?
Well, we got the cheesecake, but they have a low-carb cheesecake, which I was quite happy about, which was really tasty, with fresh fruit and a low-sugar cheesecake, which was really good. But I ended up getting like an Asian salad. It was like cucumber, chili crisp, vinaigrette kind of thing. It was actually really good. Also got some fried pickles, and you can never go wrong with fried pickles. That's like one of my weaknesses. My wife got... I can't remember what she got. It was like a chicken parmesan almost, but it was more like a parmesan crusted chicken breast, and she really enjoyed it. So it was decent enough food. The next day, that's when we went to the aquarium, which is a beautiful aquarium. The wife has now been to the top 3 aquariums in the United States, and this is her favorite. She's been to the one in Monterey Bay, just outside San Francisco. She's been to the one in Chicago with me. We went to the Shed Aquarium there. This one was just amazing. It has like 7 different exhibit areas. So you have like the big one, which has the whale sharks. It had manta rays in there. It had like a shark tank as well. So we saw some hammerheads in there. They had like river area too. It was just gorgeous. At one point we were ready to leave though, because that's when all the skulls started getting in there, and it was just a bunch of kids screaming. Which is fine.
This is my life.
Yeah, but it was nice because we got to enjoy the big one before everybody got there, because we got there right at opening time. Stopped over, got some biscuits and gravies, because that was one thing. It's like if you're in the South, you have to get biscuits and gravy. That's just a thing. Ended up doing that, enjoyed that. After that, we went to this Coca-Cola thing. It's not like the factory per se, but it's like a World of Coca-Cola is what it's called. It's right across from the aquarium. It's actually really neat. They had like a sniffing room that shows you how they give all the scents to help your olfactory into there. And so like, oh yeah, this is the drink we mix here. This is the drink we mix here. And then they set you into this one side where you're smelling something else, and you're like, try to guess what drink this is in based on that smell. It was actually really neat. They had the vault, so it basically tells you the entire history of the Coca-Cola from like the 18 something to current. They had another thing that had just a whole bunch of stuff. Our favorite, the last place you go into, is the tasting room. So everything that they manufacture around the world, they have on tap there for you to try. And at that point, I was like, cool. I had a few of them, and I was like, I'm tired. This is a lot of soda. Give me back to my 0 sugar sodas, because I was just taking sips here and there, and I'm like, oh, this is way too much for me now. All I taste is sweet now. Yeah. So it was a little rough, but that was really cool. And the last thing we did was just kind of a throwaway thing because we bought the Atlanta City Pass, which gave us access to all these places for much cheaper price than individual tickets. We went to the Chick-fil-A College Football Hall of Fame. That was the last place we did. And my wife had more fun there than she expected. Because when you get in there, they have you sign in with these cards. And they put AI generation into them. So they take a picture of you. And they put you in like different things. So there's pictures of me as the head coach of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Winning the thing. Or as a player. And she did one as well. And she was just having a blast in there. While I'm looking at all this really cool stuff. Like the old football jerseys. I was mentioning it last week when Dom joined us to be like, this one has a special meaning to me because this is my favorite football player of all time, Steve McNair. That's his helmet from when he played for Alcorn State. So yeah, we had a blast there. Atlanta was really nice. I wanted to mention this to you online. My wife finally tried Korean barbecue.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
So we stopped at a Korean barbecue downtown. And we've had.
And you've had it.
I've had it. I've had it once before. In Phoenix. Before, okay. In Phoenix years ago. Yeah. It's been a while since I've had it, so I want to say early aughts or like late aughts actually. 2007, I think. Okay. Because I went there for a concert.
So let me just make sure that I understand, because there's a few different kinds of Korean barbecue. Was this a pay once all you can eat? Or was it
could have done that.
By meats.
You could have done the all you can eat.
Okay.
But we ended up doing where we can get
a la carte, I guess.
They have the a la carte. We did the one where we just got the beef menu, and it gave us a bunch of like the beef stuff. My wife picked. You could also get one that was a combination of pork, beef, and chicken.
Gotcha.
But the wife was like,
different like levels and stuff.
They had different levels, and she's like, I just want this. We had the biscuits and gravy earlier. I don't want too much.
Okay, you had Korean barbecue after you had lunch for biscuits and gravy?
We had biscuits and gravy at like 10 o'clock at night or 10 in the morning. We had the Korean barbecue for dinner.
That's like a feast 5. Of a day, man.
Yeah. Like the biscuits and gravy kept us fueled to go through all these places, and then we had the Korean barbecue.
It's like pure carbs right there.
So we did the beef menu because it was the ribeye, it was the flank steak, and the brisket, and there was another one over there. Honestly, for me personally, my favorite thing out of that entire thing was the kimchi cucumbers. I am a sucker for kimchi cucumbers. Okay. I'm not a huge cabbage fan. I'll eat kimchi as it is, but give me kimchi cucumbers, I'm down. Yeah. So yeah, we did that. She enjoyed it. It's her third favorite of the barbecues that I've introduced her to, because we've done the Brazilian barbecue. We've done the, of course, American barbecue. The Japanese barbecue. That by far is her favorite because of the marinades and stuff like that.
Sure. That makes sense.
And also the fact that we did all the cooking then. The Korean barbecue, they cooked it for us at the table.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So they just throw it in there and they just cook it at the table for you.
Oh, nice. Okay, because most Korean barbecue, like,
it depends on which one you go to. Yeah. But this one, they did it at our table. It was more of a...
It was like a hibachi kind of thing?
Not really, because it's still the thing in the center, and they would walk away, and I'd be flipping the meat as well. So, But yeah, it was mainly him working and doing this and stuff like that. So it worked out well for us. But yeah, she enjoyed the flavor more of the Japanese barbecue, but she did enjoy herself. And like I said, it's fine. I've always liked Korean barbecue, but it's not one of my go-tos. I'd rather go to Japanese barbecue, but I also like the seasonings that they use in Japanese barbecue. And plus, I had proper Wagyu beef at the Japanese barbecue, the A5, which, by the way, is stupid expensive, but it was really good for what we paid for there. So, but yeah, we had Korean barbecue. Atlanta was really nice. The Cheesecake Factory was actually pretty good. Plus, they had a low carb. It's called Strawberry Low-licious Cheesecake. So I was quite happy with that. Atlanta turned out to be like an afterthought kind of city. It turned out to be actually a really great trip. We really did enjoy it a lot.
That's awesome. Cool. So outside of gaming, mine is not nearly as exciting as yours. Recently my sister moved back home here to Las Cruces, New Mexico. She moved from Portland area. Yeah. There's drastic scenery difference. And so she moved back recently, and one of the things that she used to like doing, specifically my mom loves doing, is going thrifting, right? Yeah. And, I am too. I love doing that as well. I love going to thrift stores. And my sister, she enjoys it as well. She's not as into it, but she was like, I need some new clothes. I want to try this. And while we were going, I was like, okay, like what? Let's take you down to El Paso. Let's hit up some of our favorite thrift stores, and while we're at it, we'll go to a bin store.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I've been to like the Goodwill bin store. And I was like, no, then you haven't been to a bin store, because that's a very different thing.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, what do you mean? There's bins, and it's like returns. And I'm like, yeah, kinda. Like so, because like the Goodwill bins, because there's one in Tucson, in which
we used to have a nice one here too.
Yeah, well, so it wasn't legally Goodwill. Anyway, because there's a franchising for
I was talking about if you're thinking of the bin store, I'm thinking of like the one that used to be where the
bin store. I thought you meant like way old school.
No.
All right, anyway, but yeah, no, you're right. We used to have a decent bin store.
Yeah,
and so like I went like hoping to get board games. I wasn't expecting it, but it never.
It happens every so often.
It does happen. The very first time I went to the big bin store here in town that we used to have, I found a big box Carcassonne for $10. I'll take it. I bought 3.
We ended up getting. I forget there was a game that we got at the bin store at one point.
I got Concept at bin store. I found a copy of Betrayal at bin store. I found a Great Western Trail.
That.
Yep. So like I found like these good games from time to time, and so I brought it to this bin store, and this is one of those ones where it's like Amazon returns, overstocks, whatever, and. I got some decent stuff. One of the cool things I got was...
Heck, our mic stand is from a bin store.
Our mic stand. That's right. I forgot about that. And some of our soundproofing panels over here, you can't see it, but they're from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the things that I got was there was these really nice wooden card stands that have like 5 rows in it.
Yeah.
And we ended up, not too long ago, we played Hanabi. And I know this is outside of gaming, but I used the card stands and we just put them in there.
Yeah.
And our mutual friend, Jim... realized there's 5 rows and there's 5 numbers of cards. So if you're trying to remember your card, he was like, can I just put this one on the 3rd row? Because I know it's a 3. I was like, come on, man. like it's part of its memory. And he was like, all right, fine, whatever. But he always loves loopholes like that. So we played with those. But one of the cool things was I got like this really nice glass speaker stands.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great, And we went to a couple other thrift stores, found some decent stuff, found like a couple of board games I was interested in. But I've been hitting it on thrift stores recently because I went recently to a thrift store a week and a half ago, one of our local ones, and I found this like large circular like case thing. And I was like,
oh,
I think I know what this is. And so I opened it up. I was like, oh my goodness, it is. It's a portable disc golf hole, and which I enjoy disc golf. So I set it up in my. I was like, okay, it's probably not complete, but I'll give it a try. It was a little pricey, but not too bad though. Every little piece was in it. Like
nice.
All the brackets, the screws, everything, instructions, even had 6 discs. Like, and those things are pretty expensive online. So to find one at a thrift store. But that's not even the best one. It's because I went back about 5 days later and I looked behind the cabinet and I noticed something kind of weird. This is the follow-up one. And it's one of those items that you only know what it is if you know what it is. And I remember I was like, okay, may I take a look at that? And then the woman behind the register, she was like, yeah, sure. And she handed it to me. And she kind of, the whole time, just giving me this look like, what even is it? And I was like, okay, all right, yeah, these look complete. I haven't even said what they are yet, and that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's 3 of them. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. It's like a metal bar with some handles and stuff. And for some reason, some, Kevlar wound across the end of it. I was like, okay, I definitely know what these are. These are what they are. And I, felt a little bit like, okay, they feel good. And it was like $6. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. And she was like, are you going to check out now? And I was trying to contain myself. Like, yeah, I'll take them right now. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'll take them right now. That's fine. And she was like, all right, you can take them to the register, I guess. I was like, and I was walking along all happy, And I was like, oh my God, these guys don't know what they have. They don't know what they have. This is so exciting. And then I sat down on the register, ring it up, and there's a gentleman behind me. And he's like, hey, are those juggling torches? I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yes, they are. I'm so hoping somebody would ask, because yes, they are. I then immediately took pictures of it, sent it to some of my best friends who know juggling, sent it to my wife, told her how excited I was, and she was like, you are such a nerd.
She was probably also like, that's another bunch of junk he's bringing into the house.
If I would have found those anywhere else, at a store... Those are upwards to $50 for a set of those.
Yeah, I know.
$6 is nothing. But I can't help but think in my mind, what situation led to that being donated? Like, you don't just buy those. Like, you can't go to Walmart and buy juggling torches. Like, no, you can't. Not those quality, anyway.
Speaking of which, I got something to tell you when we're off podcast.
Yeah, it would be a surprising Walmart, to say the least. But I was like, this is something that somebody sought out to buy. And you don't just you don't jump into juggling torches. You have to know how to juggle already and then choose to get juggling torches. So whoever this person was bought it and had to special order it to get it and knew what they wanted. And for some reason, it was donated to Savers. I don't know what the situation is. It could have been, hostile situation. I don't know.
Or it could also be just like estate.
Yeah, it could be an estate. Yeah, sure. But there's all these situations I was rolling through my mind. Like, that I just discovered $6 for 3 juggling torches. Oh, makes me truly happy. It's the little things. It's $2 a torch, man. Like, legitimately. And they are good quality, too. Like, I was practicing this earlier. I was like, oh, these feel good, Like, I wasn't doing amazing, but, like, I didn't light them on fire yet, by the way. You have to get good at those. But they are safer than juggling knives. Those are dangerous. Juggling knives are way, way more dangerous than fire. Because if you catch the torch end, you let go. That's all you do.
I mean, you can catch the knife end.
Exactly. You don't just let go on that one. If that touches your skin, that's a lot worse.
Be like,
even Penn and Teller, because Penn he demonstrates that. I don't know if when we saw it.
No, he did. They were more about the close up.
There was one time I saw them where he was juggling torches, and he explained, he was like, these are significantly safer than knives. And it's like, and they look cooler. But he was like, watch, I'm going to demonstrate it. And he flipped it, and he caught it on the torch end, and then just let it go. And then he was fine. Because, it doesn't transfer heat that quick.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. That's so ranting. I've been going thrifting, and I love it.
All right, with that being said, we're going to get into our Quadropolis episode of Brainstorm, where we give you recommendation based on our gamer criteria of 5 different games that could fit for the feel of Quadropolis that you like. Mm-hmm. And again, we're doing this in a different aspect because we love Quadropolis. Quadropolis is such a fantastic game. It is such a great game, but it's so not loved. It just kind of disappeared.
Underappreciated.
So if you like any of these games that we're recommending, go check out Quadropolis if you haven't played it before. And if you like Quadropolis, you will enjoy these games we're recommending.
More than likely. Yeah. Is there any hear me outs on yours?
There's one that's kind of close to a hear me out, but not really. Everything else kind of fits in their own way, but there is nothing that's really kind of like Quadropolis, except for the one game which is on my list.
And it is not on
I know, because you don't care for it.
I don't care for it, because why would I ever play that over Quadropolis?
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
That's just how it is. But I'm going to explain, because I bet I know what category it is for you too, like which of our gamer criteria. And when it gets to that point, I'll explain which one it is. So, we're going to start with game immersion here to give you recommendations for Quadropolis. So, game immersion breaks down to 3 things. First, is the game fun to lose? Which Quadropolis very much fun to lose. Oh, yeah. Player interaction, so that's role playing, table talk, not much in that.
Other than the one interaction of, oh man, why'd you go there? You blocked us out. Yep. Oh, thanks for the raid.
Hey, thanks for the raid. Appreciate everybody. Epic raid, no less. Man, rock stars. Appreciate y'all. That's awesome. So hang out with us for a bit while we're getting into this. And then finally, memorable moments. Memorable moments in this pot the raid threw me off. That's one of our very few. Yeah. So I love it. Memorable moments. So now, giving an overview for Quadropolis. What Quadropolis is it's a city building game, except you have a 4x4 grid in the middle, and you have a 4x4 grid map in front of you. And every player has tiles numbered 1 through 4. And on your turn, you're going to place one of those tiles on the outer edge of the central board. The number of spaces that it counts inward from the direction that you're pointing it is the tile that you pick up. So, for example, it's a 5x5 in the middle. If I were to place down my 3, I go 3 spaces inward, and I pick up the 3rd tile. Then I place that in either the row or column that matches the number 3, since I used the 3 tile to do it. So it's this cool little interesting puzzle that you have to work out. As you take the tiles that I might want, or you take up the spaces, I have to work around that to get the city building that I want. Mm-hmm. Now, on top of that, after you take from that location, you put the city planner, or whatever the character is. This is beautiful translucent
pawn. I think
pawn.
It's the architect.
Yeah, something like that. And you put it in that spot, and that means that nobody else can point an arrow at that piece, which is a jerk of a piece.
Annoys people so much.
Yeah, right, exactly. That is a terrible one. So here's thanks, Epic Realms. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'll talk with you as soon as I'm with this. So I appreciate you guys. Now, Quadropolis. You see what I mean about being thrown off by this? No, you guys are lovely. I appreciate you. So Quadropolis, one of the best things about it too is the tiles that you pick up. There's like 5 different types, and they score in different ways.
Yeah.
But on top of that, they'll give you either energy, which is these cool little hexagonal red pieces, or population, which are blue meeples. And by the way, they're acrylic. They're not even wood.
Oh, they're nice.
They look so cool. I like the way that they look. And you're going to be placing those on these to score in different ways. Like certain ones, like parks will want to be next to like industrial areas. Water, you want like a straight line, the longest ones. Municipal buildings, you want in each quadrant. Mm-hmm. Stores, you want more people in. And they all work really differently. So with that being said, game immersion, my pick and my recommendation for you is Cities Skyline. This is a game based on the video game, made by Cosmos, and this is a city building game as well. However, what's different about this is specifically you have a bunch of meters that you're essentially planning for. You're trying to deal with population, you're trying to deal with happiness, you're trying to deal with a bunch of different factors, and it is a cooperative game where every card you play will have hopefully mostly positive outcomes and probably some fewer ones. And you're trying to balance these scales to be as concise as possible while keeping up the population's happiness. That's the whole game. And the fact that it's city building and cooperative at the same time makes it really engaging. You're playing for the same thing. You're all invested in the same area. And while even though Quadropolis is versus, this is just as fun of a puzzle to work out. And I feel like if you like city building games that have that puzzly aspect of it, as you'll probably see in the rest of my list, this is a good one to go with.
Okay. My pick for game immersion is something that also is kind of city building, and also you're working as a group to city build, but it's still competitive like Quadropolis. And the one I'm picking here is a game designed from Arcane Wonders and Emerson Matsuuchi. This is Foundations of Metropolis is the one I'm specifically picking, but you can also do Foundations of Rome if you have the bigger one. What I like about this game is it's got those quick, simple turns like Quadropolis does. Hey, I point 2 here, I grab this token, and I put this in my 2 column or row. And it's got those quick, simple turns. It looks great when it's finished, just like Quadropolis does when you're like, oh, this is a pretty cool city. It's got a great decision space. So I love the decision space in this game. And then finally, as always, this game is fun to play, just like Quadropolis is. We always have a blast every time we bust this one out. Whether it's Rome or Metropolis, we have a blast with this one. So with that being said, Foundations of Metropolis or Rome, depending on your flavor, is the way to go. Moving on to our art and production.
That's right. Here we go. That'll be me. So art and production is simply the art, which we know is subjective, but there's some art that, there's not much art in Quadropolis. There's tiny little pretty buildings, there's, tiles. What really makes it great is the actual production value of the game. As we said earlier, the pieces are acrylic, clear acrylic. Both pawns, the first player pawn and the city planner, whatever it is, the architect that's moving around, are clear acrylic, and it really gives a good vibe to it. We also have pieces and components, which that applies to as well. Even like so much as Days of Wonder knows how to do like a proper insert tray, and that holds every little piece well. It also has like some advanced tiles that you can include in there, so that's fun. And finally, the graphic design. There is not a single thing in this game that is unfriendly to colorblind people, which again, Daniel and I are colorblind, so if you can't fix that, you got a problem. But anyway, minor detail,
spoiler alert, when we go into our top 8 debate that we're going to be recording a little bit later or next week for our audio listeners, there's a game we're going to be talking about colorblind unfriendliness. Exactly.
So I needed something that would kind of work with that. Now, even though my recommendation is not the most colorblind friendly, because there are some parts about it that is not as much, I'm agreeing with you that Foundations of Metropolis is my recommendation, just because I think it's a really great city building game. It uses polyomino buildings, but you're kind of bidding for this like general area that everyone is not taking the tiles from, but building into. So it's kind of like the opposite of Quadropolis, right? Mm-hmm. But you are building up your engine, whether it's building up population, getting victory points, or whatever, and or money to pay for these, which is when you buy the lots to build into it. So I really enjoy this a lot. So there it is. Art and production, my recommendation is Foundation of Metropolis, which was your game immersion.
My game immersion. And Epic Realms, thank you again for the raid, and enjoy your dinner.
Yeah, thanks.
And then my art and production pick here. Is this where you thought I was going to put this one? Because this is actually where I ended up putting it. The one that is basically using the same mechanism of Quadropolis. Oh, sure. This is Meadow.
The other game that uses this mechanism.
The other game that uses this mechanism. From Rebel Studio in Clemens Kalecki. Again, a reason why I put it in here is I think the game that I picked for Meaningful Choice just has a lot more meaningful choice without getting too heavy-handed like Meadow does. But Meadow has the one thing that a lot of people have been missing out on is fantastic artwork. Mm-hmm. The art style from that game is great. The component quality is also good. Not as good as Days of Wonder, but who really is with the acrylic barrels and the acrylic meeples. But the tiles are just as good as their other tree area and the little campers that go around.
Sure.
Again, it uses the same mechanism where you're pointing and you're drawing a card based on that. I like the fact that you can combo the cards like, hey, I got this. Now I can put this card on top of that card and keep it going. So it does a fantastic job in all those, and it just looks great. It has got one of the most striking covers. It's one of those games that really got my wife not into board gaming, but enjoying more of the nature style of games instead of these heavy-handed city building games. Because as much as city building is fun, not everybody's going to get into it, but a lot of people will get into the nature type games like Meadow. Now, is Meadow the best game out there? Not really. I do enjoy it. I enjoy it a lot more than you do. It has one flaw, and one major flaw. It just overstays its welcome, really, where Quadropolis doesn't. But when it comes to that art style and the component quality for a smaller studio, I think it's a fantastic game. Moving on to Meaningful Choice.
All right. Meaningful Choice. Here we go. This coin likes me today. This is the Frosthaven coin, by the way. This is our coin of doom for this week. All right, so my Meaningful Choice, again, one of the biggest factors of Quadropolis that make it really unique is that you are all fighting over which tiles get built, and every time you put down your tile, the 1, 2, 3, or 4, you are not only blocking that space, you're taking the tile that's somewhere amidst the grid. Everyone has enough spaces to take enough tiles from that, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to get one.
In fact, you might not get the tile you want.
You might not get a tile you want, or even a tile at all. And that's part of it. It's almost like a worker placement in that aspect. But the tile you put down also determines which row or column you put it in, which is another little puzzle aspect. It's not that you just want to pick that one up, it's that you want to plan for that future as well. So I wanted a game this is also a city building game, by the way, that uses that idea where my choice doesn't affect you per se, but it might affect the outcomes of what we have available collectively. So there's a lot of good choices in this game that I'm about to recommend, but you always have like that cool little fallback, like in Quadropolis. This is Cities by Phil Walker Harding. And the reason I picked this is because you have 4 rows, each with 4 options. You can either get buildings, you can get a landscape tile, you can get a feature tile, or you can get like an objective card. Whenever you put down your worker, you're going to be choosing one of each of those 4. Kind of like you're going to use one of each of your 4 placement tiles to pick up a tile. So when I pick an objective card, that is the only one I get, unless we're playing a 2-player game. Then you get 2. But that is the only one I theoretically get because I've already picked up that objective tile. So I could go for the big one first, but that means that you might go, okay, well, then you know what? You got the one I wanted. So instead, I'm going to divert over to this path. I'm going to get this landscape tile. And I'll look at you and go, oh, you took my landscape tile, but I knew I had to get that objective first. Mm-hmm. And you're going to keep going on this cool little pathway where you're like, all right, this is my priority number 1, this is priority number 2, and these 2 I can deal with if I don't really care what's left over. Yeah. And then seeing how people pick out what at what time really makes you have this cool little friendly puzzle that you're trying to solve as you're playing it. So cities, that is easily my recommendation for meaningful choice because it impacts other players, which is one of my sub-criteria. The depth of strategy, tactics, or skills, which I know, I forgot to say it at the beginning. That is my second criteria, so you have that same level of tactics for an overall arcing game. And then finally, the arbitrary choices in AP, there's almost none in either of the games. You can play it really quick. If you sped run it, you can play it in like 30 minutes.
All right, so going on to my meaningful choice here, I picked a game that gives a lot of that unique drafting kind of mechanism that Quadropolis has, where you're pointing and you're taking that tile from that specific section. And this one, you're drafting based on where you're at in the turn order kind of thing. Mm-hmm. When to say the game, you'll understand what I mean by that, because it determines what you're going to draft, per se. Okay. It allows a lot of comboing when it comes to the scoring. Is like this triggers this and this triggers that. Kind of like how Quadropolis is like, hey, if I build these ports, it's my longest line of ports. But this building needs to be next to ports as well as other type of buildings because this is going to score better when it's next to those. And I like that combo tastic of it when it comes to that scoring. Okay. And so what I chose for my meaningful choice, because it gives you an impact on other player strategy because you can determine what they're drafting from. It got that tableau building. It's got that great combos. It has a lot of strategy for such a simple game. And it's not a city building game. It's a civilization style game. This is Hadara from Hans Gluck and Z-Man Games and Benjamin Schwer.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a centralized puzzle, and
and sure, the thing is, like, how you set that board. Is
wasn't expecting this today, but I will give you that.
It's kind of like that drafting mechanism where it's like, if I'm here blocking you from going here, it's like, do I use my 4 to get to that tile that you just blocked me from that I could use better somewhere else?
Right.
Or do I, and then in Hadara is like, if I set this here, this is what I'm drafting from. You're stuck in the yellow card section. And I know you didn't want yellow cards. You wanted blue cards this turn around. So it loves that. But you're like, I can make this work because I can use these yellow cards to increase my food production, which means I can keep more people on my board. And so it leads to that nice little engine building, but it leads to that nice combo tastic, and everybody can go in a different route that they want to go to. But then you're seeing where everybody's going. It's like, I don't want you drafting from those cards. So I'm going to make this come over here, and we're drafting from this section over here, that kind of thing. I like that. It's a simple drafting game. It's actually got some beautiful artwork on this one, too. The cover, not that great. But it's a fun game. I do enjoy it. And it's not often I get to recommend such a unique game, kind of like Quadropolis, which has its uniqueness. So I picked Hadara for meaningful choice.
Cool. All right. Now we're going to go on to ease of play.
And when we're talking about ease of play, it's simplicity and familiarity of the mechanism, the likelihood to get to the table, i.e. through the mechanism or the theme, and is it easy to learn, understand, and or teach. And for me, when it comes to these 3 criterias, I was like, what's better than a small, simple little card game that we just recently played, once again, on Board Game Arena, but you and me both own the physical copy of this one. All you're doing is you're drafting cards and building a 3x3 grid of either lords or peasants, and this is Castle Combo from Catch-Up Games, Pandasaurus Games, designed by Gregory Grand and Matthew Rousseau. I'm sorry if I butchered the French on that one, but yeah, it's a simple turns. I'm either drawing one of these cards from this section where this guy's at, or I'm spending a coin to move this guy over here to draft from the Lord section or the Peasant section. And then I'm putting them in the grid, and I want to put them there because they're either going to give me maybe some money, or they're going to trigger some scoring for me at the end of the game based on other tags that is in my grid or in the row or column that it's in. So it has great art. It has some fantastic combo scoring. I love the nuance on this. Is like, do I want to spin this to go down and get the thing I want there, or do I just take this right now and see what comes up later? Yep. And at the points in time, sometimes you're going to have to take something on the back end of it for the blank draft so you can get some coins and some keys to start doing some stuff. But it is a small little, cute little card game that is, you draft a card, you put it in your tableau, and you trigger the scoring. It's that simple. The drafting a card, simple mechanism. Likelihood to get to the table. It's got some cutesy art that has people wanting to try it out. And then, is it easy to learn, understand, or teach? You're like, I need to play this again and relearn it. And you're like, oh, never mind. I know how to play this. It's that simple. So yeah, for me, it is Castle Combo.
Cool. And we also want to give a quick shout out because both Epic Realms and Roll to Toke shouted out Fight in a Box, which is
gaming
company. I haven't heard of them. We will check them out after the podcast.
Indie game designers.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know about those. All right, so my ease of play is also a game that you and I have both recently played on Board Game Arena, and because we both own the physical copy, and we're like, all right, time to learn this one. And it was fresh in my mind because not only are you getting tiles and placing them onto your board, that's not really a board. You'll understand what I mean in a minute. Each of the tiles work functionally in a different way. Like, you might need wood tiles to branch off from the beginning of it. Yeah. Oh, Roll to Toke is a new game designer as well. Yeah.
Get back to your...
Anyway, back to you're getting wood tiles that branch off, right? You're getting leaves to decorate that. And then you might get fruit and or flowers that spawn from there. And there's different objective goals that you can get. I like how each of those score in a very different way. And all, when it boils down to it, is you have a row of cards that will give you the benefit by taking the card itself, which might be endgame scoring, might be an instant ability, or it might just be getting some of those tiles. And there's set in stone ones underneath it that also get you those. It does a lot of things that are similar to like checking through history, which is one of the reasons I like that. And that was on my short list for recommendation, just because I like the combination of the card giving you something, plus its position on the board giving you something else. And that way you can combine the two to kind of suss out the cool little puzzle that you're trying to solve. So Bonsai is my pick for ease of play.
Yeah, no, Bonsai was good. I have to pull it off my pile of shame.
I do too. Yep.
We've actually got a bunch of the games off my pile of shame just because of Board Game Arena.
You're welcome. I'm not complaining. I'll just see if there's any more of mine on there. Yeah. It might be. All right, and our final category today is replay value. And replay value breaks down into three main criteria. First off, length of time and scaling well. How long does it play per player? And what's the range of the player? The minimum number of plays for the very full experience. And expandability. Are there already existing expansions up to ones that are confirmed? Both Quadropolis and the game I'm about to talk about have at least one expansion. They might have like some promo packs and stuff.
I don't think Quadropolis has an expansion. I think it's just all promo packs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. But I think it has a tiny little box expansion.
Okay.
It's not a big one because I do own it, but it's not much. It's only like a handful of tiles that include. But more specifically, this one also does not have a lot of expansion either. But what you're doing on your core is you're playing this fun little puzzle that you're invested so much into yours that score in a different way. You're using a puzzle to get points to play the game. And in this game, you just so happen to be doing that puzzle on your own board, and it happens to be fruit-themed. Juicy Fruits.
Oh, I totally forgot about this one.
So did I. Until I saw it on my list. I was like, oh, yeah, that totally has the same feel, right? Because it's that clever little puzzle. You're like, oh, it's a
But it's more of a slide puzzle than anything.
Yeah, sure. It's less of a drafting puzzle, more of a slidey puzzle, but it gets you bits to buy things, to get more things, to do more stuff. I love it. It scores in different ways. You're trying to trade in stuff. This is the farthest, like, mechanistically from it, but I feel like it's very good. It plays very quickly.
Still a decent draft.
Yeah, it's like a 25 to 30 minute game. It's pretty quick. Minimum number of plays. While it doesn't change all that much, there's some variation.
The teach takes longer than the game.
Right, exactly. I remember that. And there's not much expansion. So if you're okay with that, like a really concise thing that's super modular, has this fun puzzly aspect of it, Juicy Fruits is definitely worth your style.
Great components too. Big chunky wood blocks. So my replay value is a relatively new game, one that you actually just recently played and enjoyed. I taught it to Damn It Dom when it was his pick, because he got something off my shuffle shame. I'm like, I know how to play that, so I can teach this one to you. It's a tile placement game, but cards, and you actually enjoyed it for what it is. My replay value is Stone Spine Architects from Thunderworks Game and Jordi Adnan. You're drafting the tiles that you're going to put into your dungeon. It's over 16 rounds, so it's a little bit longer than Quadropolis because you're only doing that over 4 rounds, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. It's a simple draft. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay this. I'm going to get these, and I'm going to put this out on my board. I'm trying to connect different parts of my labyrinth. I want to connect my opening to my end. I want to get all these different characters to give me points. I'm also fighting over in-game scoring cards. It'd be like, I need to get this before you guys do. So should I be the first one to pass to get that scoring card before you guys do? It has a lot of fun, little interesting scoring tidbits over 3 rounds of play because you're doing a 4x3 grid. Mm-hmm. Basically, you're just drafting 4 cards to put into your thing. You do the top part of your labyrinth, the second part of your labyrinth, and then the bottom part of your labyrinth. And what I like about it is this one does have a confirmed expansion coming out in the future later this year. So yeah, I really did dig this one. I love Stone Spine Architects, and I think it works for the replay value pick because it's so unique when it comes to that tile placement, plus a unique draft, plus some interesting scoring, just like Quadropolis. So Stone Spine Architects.
Yeah, that's a good pick, actually. All right, so that's it for our recommendations, our brainstorm for Quadropolis. Again, a game that we don't think gets enough love, but if you've played any of the games we've recommended, try Quadropolis and vice versa. So, this is a good one.
I had a good time with this one.
This makes me want to play Quadropolis again, honestly.
Exactly, and we only played it like a month ago, so...
I know. Let's get it back to the table. Anyway, if you ever want to email us directly, we have an email address, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com, and you can email us whether that is to enter in future contests, give us ideas for future episodes or topics that we can discuss, or just to reach out and say hi. Also, we have an Instagram, instagram.com/everydayboardgames, where you can check out the games that Daniel and I have been playing together recently, or other random shenanigans I tend to point out. And finally, we have Discord as well, brand new. Join us on Discord, join in on the chat so you can chat with your favorite board game content creators whenever we are offline. Discord is in the description on below of wherever you're hearing this from.
And all video re-uploads and reviews are found under youtube.com/@everydayboardgames. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on the platform. Subscribe if you're not. Like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject.
We also stream our episodes live at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. We want to give a shout out to Epic Realms, Roll to Toke, and our friends Board Game Bard and Keystone for joining us today, and anybody else who joined us in the chat. We appreciate you guys. Stick around for, if you're listening to us live, we're going to do another one right back after this. But twitch.tv, make sure you follow us so you know when we play live. Whenever we stream live.
There you go. Words are hard.
There. We're not playing a word game today.
All audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Apple.
So as always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.